a comprehensive look at trends, fund profiles, and more in Exploring ETFs.
Going to take a look now at the most interesting new ETFs. And when I say new, I really mean new. Nina Mishra, our ETF Research Director, is here. And so these have come online just within the past weeks.
Yes, they're very new. So let's talk about the trend first.
Okay.
About 230 new ETFs have made their debut so far in 2018, okay. Which takes the total number of exchange-traded products in the U.S. to 2,226. Mm-hmm. Now, the number of these new launches, about 230 or more, that is more or less in line with the trends that we have seen in recent years. Okay. But 145 ETFs have been liquidated this year, which is a higher number than we saw in recent years.
Is it 145 of the 230 or just total 145?
Of the total number of ETFs.
That were already there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that means that indicates that the industry is maturing, competition is heating up, and easy ideas, new ideas that may work, they are not easy now. The ideas that may work, they are not easy to come by, I should say. And of course, we have seen the trend that new ETFs are getting more niche, more specialized.
Sure.
That is a trend which we have seen in the past, 2-3 years, because easy ideas have been taking. That's what I always say. Mm-hmm. So new entrants have to do something more innovative in order to gather assets.
Is the 230 more or less in line with previous years?
Yes, that is more or less in line with the trends that we saw in recent years. These include a number of actively managed ETFs because, as I mentioned, providers are trying to do something different. Sure. A number of smart beta ETFs, a number of thematic and niche ETFs, and these are across all asset classes, U.S. equities, a lot of international ETFs, new international ETFs made their debut this year, and fixed income ETFs too.
Okay, let's take a look here. First one we have is the Spider Kensho Final Frontiers ETF. Can't wait to hear what that's about.
Yes, XKFF is the ticker. Final Frontiers. So it invests in outer space and deep sea, companies that are involved with exploration of outer space or deep sea. And this is the first ETF of its kind which invests in outer space. And there are at least a couple more in the pipeline. Now, these ETFs were launched by State Street in partnership with Kensho Technologies, which is a data analytics and artificial intelligence firm. And components holdings for this ETF are selected using artificial intelligence and machine learning, and then they are weighted using a quantitative weighting methodology. Now, we know that because of recent technological advances, deep sea and space exploration is no longer science fiction. In fact, Elon Musk is talking about an expedition to Mars, a mission to Mars, in the next 3-4 years. And Pentagon plans to have a space force which could be operational by 2020, in fact. So all those trends and technological advances, they are going to help these companies that are involved in these final frontiers, exploration of final frontiers. And in fact, according to Morgan Stanley estimates, revenues from global space exploration may increase to $1.1 trillion or even more by 2040 from just about $350 billion in 2016.
Interesting.
So to take a look at the ETF, you can go to the code page on Zacks.com. You can read our articles and other details. It has an expense ratio of 45 basis points, which is very reasonable considering it is a thematic ETF targeting a very specialized area of the market. And you can also go to the external home page and you can look at the holdings and other details. So companies like Aerojet, Heiko Corporation, Boeing also, United Technologies. So some familiar names, some not so familiar names which are involved in space or deep sea exploration. And as you can see, aerospace and defense companies account for about 69% of the portfolio, and electronic manufacturing about 5%, ID consulting and other services also about 5%.
All right, and then there's the Invesco S&P 500 Equal Weight Communication Services ETF.
The ticker is EWCO. Now, we talked about GICS realignment a couple months back.
Sure.
We know that the old telecom sector was broadened and renamed as communication services sector, and some of the hottest technology and media and entertainment stocks, including 3 FANG stocks, are now housed in this new communication services sector. And we have seen some new ETFs or broadened ETFs which are targeted, focused on this new sector, but most of them are market cap weighted. And because of market cap weighting, they have outsized exposure to some of the giants. In fact, market cap weighted ETFs have about 40% of their assets invested in just 2 companies, Google and Facebook, because they are so huge. So if you want exposure to this new sector, and you should, it includes some of the very innovative, very high-tech companies. So if you want exposure to this new communication services sector, but you do not want to have an outsized exposure just to 2 to 3 companies, but you want like an equal exposure to other smaller and more innovative companies as well, then probably you should take a look at this ETF because it is equally weighted. 26 holdings. This has an expense ratio of 40 basis points, which again is very reasonable for an equal weighted ETF. Now you can take a look at this ETF by going to the code page on Zacks.com and also going to the external homepage, the Invesco website for this ETF, and you can look at portfolio and other details. So as I mentioned, Facebook, Google, Netflix, 3 FANG stocks are housed in this sector. So you will see those companies in the holdings, among the holdings, but you will see that almost all companies have equal exposure. So other higher growth companies, higher growth potential companies, maybe like Twitter and Take-Two Interactive Software, Electronic Arts, Activision Blizzard, all those companies, if you want exposure to those companies as well and not just focus too much on Facebook and Google, then you should take a look at this ETF.
Okay. And these are 2 new, so there's no comparison to the market because they've only been around a short time.
Yes,
right?
That's right.
But do you own either one?
Not yet. I'll watch for some time.
Okay.
But I find both of them very interesting.
All right. Thanks for that. Don't forget, more ETF information is on our website in the ETF section of Zacks.com. Use the Funds tab in the top toolbar to get there. And on the podcast page is where you'll find Nina's ETF podcast that she updates frequently. So check that out. A lot of interesting information there as well. With Nina, I'm Terry Ruffalo.